This chart shows the value of gold by weight, currently sitting around 55 euros a gram. Next to it is the valuation of a Stradivarius violin, which can reach up to 50,000 euros for that exact same gram. At these valuations, these instruments operate as a hyper-concentrated alternative asset class. They are heavily insured, stored in climate-controlled vaults, and traded almost exclusively among billionaires and investment syndicates. When they do change hands, it happens in the closed ecosystem of exclusive auctions, where centuries of provenance are leveraged to command staggering premiums. It presents a fascinating economic paradox. An object crafted from common pine and maple, designed purely as a functional acoustic tool, now commands a higher price per ounce than diamonds. That valuation is driven in large part by absolute scarcity. Out of the thousands Antonio Stradivarius produced during his lifetime, only about 500 remain in existence today.
For centuries, a mythology grew around these surviving pieces. The prevailing belief was that Stradivari possessed an irreplicable formula, that he applied a proprietary varnish or possessed an alchemical knowledge that gave his instruments their voice. Researchers spent decades chasing ghosts. They hypothesized that the timber had been soaked in fungicides, subjected to harsh woodworm treatments, or sealed with a lost mineral preservative. And time is running out to study them. These are organic, fragile objects under immense physical tension. They warp, crack, and slowly degrade with every passing decade. Securing a Stradivarius today is a race against physics, an attempt to capture a fading human genius before the material finally collapses. The origin of these artifacts traces back to the streets of Cremona, Italy, between 1667 and 1680. It is a city whose traditional violin making techniques are now recognized as a UNESCO intangible cultural heritage. Stradivari operated with intense physical discipline. He scoured local forests and timber shipments, selecting specific cuts of pine, poplar, and willow. He built his instruments around thick, solid walnut forms. This original mold, preserved in the Cosio archive, proves his outlines were born from calculated geometry. He continually patched and reshaped these exact forms, adding thin strips of canvas to test microscopic adjustments. To achieve the necessary acoustic resonance, he measured the thickness of the carved wood down to fractions of a millimeter using specialized iron calipers. The workshop in Cremona was driven by rigorous, iterative engineering. He tested, adjusted, and rebuilt his models thousands of times to optimize sound. Today, conservationists rely on advanced laboratory equipment to decode historical art, stripping away centuries of romantic mythology. Similar to how the Forbes pigment collection identifies modern synthetic paints to spot forged old masters, material analysis can map the exact chemical binders and varnishes used on antique strings. When researchers subjected Stradivari's work to this level of scrutiny, they found something startling. There is no singular, lost secret ingredient. This chart shows the results of double-blind acoustic tests conducted in Paris and New York. When top-tier soloists played behind a screen, modern instruments matched and frequently defeated the antique originals in both projection and tonal preference. Detailed studies by MIT confirm that the shape and length of the F-holes, along with the wood's thickness, dictate the sound. Armed with this data, today's master luthiers can consistently engineer the exact same acoustic profile. If the audio output is mathematically replicable today, the millions of dollars exchanged at auction are no longer paying for acoustic superiority. Why does an object continue to break 8-figure valuation records when a newly built, acoustically identical version can be purchased for a fraction of the cost? Part of the answer lies in a history of aggressive modification. Throughout the 19th century, restorers routinely ripped open classical Italian violins, untouched surviving artifacts in a tier of their own. In the highest tiers of the art market, the price reflects the exclusivity of finite historical survival, rather than the utility of the tool itself. But focusing solely on the physical wood misses the true loss. What is actually disappearing is the human process that created it. Because the market places such an astronomical premium on Stradivari's name, contemporary makers are financially incentivized to copy his dimensions, rather than iterate and design their own original models. Traditional Cremonese lutherie was never about static measurements. It relied on physical instinct, carving, tapping, and physically feeling the give of each unique piece of timber.
adapting the design to the material. Today's mass production models run counter to that philosophy, substituting individual assessment with uniform precision. We are rapidly losing the sensory language of human intuition in favor of sterile predictability. A modern machine can scan a Stradivarius, calculating every curve and thickness to the micron, and carve an identical physical copy. But a machine does not listen. It cannot adapt to the dense rings of a slow-growing pine, and it cannot feel the tension in the grain.
We value these instruments because they are tangible records of a lost dialogue. They represent one of the last true, unreplicable conversations between human hands, nature, and time.
Subscribe for more luxury.